Welcome to the RC Roundtable podcast, where we discuss the latest RC hobby news, events, model reviews, and a whole lot more.
Howdy, boys.
Howdy, howdy. Let's move some people around here. There we go. Let's be above Terry. Yeah, now we're above. Then we can look down on Terry.
It's a story of a lovely lady. Three lovely girls.
Oh, boy.
I was starting to forget what you guys looked like.
Yeah,
And that's not a good thing?
No comment.
it's still squeaky. Well,
We have lots to talk about, right?
We do. I get to spend a lot of time with Fitz, so
Recovery.
we've been partying, man.
And we didn't kill each other.
No, we were cordial. Actually, what we could practice safe distancing because you actually moved down a couple of bits. So when we camped out at Best, you were actually 2 or 3 bits down further. So
Oh, really? There was a buffer between you?
there was, yeah.
Yeah, some other
That's
people came early to
unprecedented.
me.
Oh,
I would have been real early, but work got in the way, so I wasn't able to make it till later in the day. And then a couple of people jacked my spot.
Oh, this wasn't a quarrel. This was
I could have
bad
later.
time.
yeah. Many of us showed up on Thursday, so it was good. It was good. Oh, Best was good. I'll just give it that.
Well, we're not ready for that yet. What's this?
I know.
Stros stuff.
Oh, the Astros won in a nail biter. So Russell, thanks for sharing that. That was for me, right, Russell? Or maybe for Fitz. Maybe Fitz is an Astros fan, but I'm definitely
Yeah,
not.
that was the best golf game ever.
Oh, oh man, that was great. The Astros came in and Jordan earned his salary 10 times fold, man. Oh man, 3-run bomb at the 9th inning, and we beat the Mariners. First game.
Is he the guy who reads the signals?
What?
Is he the guy who reads the other pitcher's signals?
No,
No.
man, Terry, how dare you? No.
Oh,
Stop. I can fix Terry real quick by clicking this button. Don't worry about any of this horrible stuff that Terry's talking about.
It's the band.
I'm just going to make sure if he doesn't behave, he's not coming back. All right. Are you going to behave?
so I guess we're not ready to laugh about that yet.
No, no.
All right. Too soon.
I'll tell you one thing: the announcers still aren't ready to talk about it because all they do is talk about our opposing team. And they felt so bad for the Mariners for losing in the 9th inning. That's how they ended the show. Who is eating a box of cereal? Fitz, what are you messing with? It is loud.
Really?
That's a
Okay.
Fitzism right there. Can you hear that? Yes, Fitz. We heard that.
Well, sorry, what? That's a good
Playing with his
microphone.
Lucky
Yeah.
Charms.
Oh,
All right,
Lord.
so we have lots of stuff. Shall we dig in? Go for it.
Hello, everybody, for joining our show. I know it's last minute. That's my fault. But we
Oh.
wanted to record. It's been very difficult to get together. We're traveling a lot. And I know I'm going to be heading out this weekend for another camp out. So
Yeah, pesky kids always
those
getting in the
kids,
way.
those great kids of mine. So yeah, let's get started on a fun podcast. And guys, I'm monitoring the chat room. Feel free to throw us some questions or
Yeah, I see a bunch of familiar names already.
yeah, let's have fun today. But I know we have stuff to talk about. So Terry, or excuse me, Derriere.
Derriere.
Does anybody get mine? Does anybody get my name?
Yeah, from Max.
Okay, good.
I don't know about the E, but Charles.
Emerson Winchester the third.
The third.
There you go.
Was that the haughty one?
The haughty one?
The haughty. Hauty. Haughty. The guy with the pseudo British accent.
Yes.
The New Englander.
Yes.
Yeah.
A very good surgeon. Yes.
Very good surgeon.
We probably should go chronologically, but I don't know what the correct chronological order of events is. Although I think the is first.
Oh, okay.
That was a long time ago, right?
Really? We haven't talked about that?
No.
Oh, dang it. I didn't put
That's how
any
long it's been.
pictures up for that.
I'll see. I think you shared photos either on HobbyView or RC Roundtable, right?
Yeah, Roundtable, maybe?
I'll work on it. You
Sorry.
start talking about it, and I'll see if I can pull them up for you.
But I do have a video on HobbyView.
Uh-huh.
So
Let's plug
the FFF Something about
It's his
floating fun or
fantastic
something.
flotilla of fun. My
All
goodness, how hard is it to remember?
Boat stuff. Yes, boats and stuff and things. And I was going to show a boat, but I haven't put them all away. So I had another boat event. Lee, you made it down, I think. Yes, you did. Yeah, and nice weather as
I'm
well.
pulling up the photos right now. Here we go. You ready?
Here, it's a local event here in our area where I gather, and there's Troy in his steam-powered boat, and there's some sort of fishing trawler thing.
I'll just keep going through the photos. You just talk about it.
So there's Troy's steam-powered. This is, I think, a Midwest, if I remember correctly, steam engine. I think a Dumas boat. I can't remember. Another steamboat showed up. I think it had 2 cylinders on this one, RC. This was pretty neat to see. So we had 2 steamers. And of course, the fishing trawler again. This boat event has lots of mixed crowd. There is a free floating sailboat. From
That
Troy.
was great. That would did really, like the previous FOF, it was like riding the edge the entire time. But this time, that sucker made the rounds.
Yeah, I rarely saw it on the edge. You just he just set the sail, set the rudder, and let go, and it just it went around the pond like a champ. A few random people,
Phil
in their sailboats. Yes, Phil on the left there, and I think that was John on the right. There's a tugboat.
Is that Kirk's?
I think it is. Yes, that was neat because the conning tower kind of popped up with the servo driven. That's a real plane. We were right next to the Ellington Airport, so there was a steerman that was flying over. There was a drone. We have a drone squadron near us as well. So there's Predator drones. Yeah. I got to try to fly a simulator on that a few months ago. So Destroyer showed up. I think this was Phil's
too. Yeah.
Yes, and I had my. Here's a pop boat. These are one of those things you put a candle in it, and it has some sort of weird convection thing, and it's free floating. It literally sounds like it goes pop, 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 pop,
yeah,
pop, pop,
magic
pop,
happens.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. One of my club members, RC playing club member, brought out his boat. And there's my little teeny tiny tugboat next to Kirk's tugboat.
Yeah.
Speedboats as well. We have electric speedboats. There is Lee looking at his FPV.
There you go. See, it's proof. Proof of concept.
Yes, it works, and there it is.
Yeah, it was great. We had a fun time.
It worked pretty good.
Yeah, because I think as soon as I got there, I made sure it was on. Then I handed it to Fitz, and Fitz running it for like 5 minutes. He was having a good time.
It was pretty neat. Yeah, a FPV boat. You can drive around and grab stuff, and just kind of from their point of view, it was good work together.
Terry, did you see the video I put online on our YouTube channel?
I did. Thank you for finally pulling that together.
I will share a link with everybody here in a second. We'll just keep going through photos. And I'll speed up pretty quick because I'll just, it's a lot of photos.
Yeah, just lots of different photos.
There we go.
There's my submarine. That's a plastic model conversion I made into a working submarine, dynamic diver, and we had a lot of fun driving that around. And we tried to catch it at one point.
Yeah.
Speaking of submarines, can you send me either the document, because we found out that the link for Steve Neal's book, the RC Submarines for Dumbasses, forgot that that's a dead link. But
I keep forgetting that. Yes,
I'll send me whatever you have.
Yeah, I'll send it. I have a copy of it. I'll send it to you. I'll throw it up on Dropbox or something. Cool. This is in the morning, so we already had a bunch of people that showed up. We're all kinds of boats, sailboats, powerboats, tugboats, whatever, young and old. Another real plane, a Texan, if I remember correctly, just flying around.
Yeah.
Was that it?
That was it.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't take a whole lot of pictures, just a few more. But it's a neat event. We just relaxing, totally free. Just float what you brought. And we had some entertainment with the aircraft flying around as well near the airport. There's a air museum that gives rides and stuff, so they fly around. And you never know what shows up. There's NASA has planes there that show up and fly stuff around. And, of course, regular people fly their stuff. But, we're there for the boats, and it's a real nice little pond that we set sail and have a good time. Just something we do on every other month or so. And, I made a video on it on my YouTube channel. I don't usually do this. I think this is the first time I actually put a video up of it. And you can see the boats, different things. There's my submarine kind of driving around. Runs better than it should.
Well, it was great because I don't know if you had it in this video, but it showed me trying to chase you, and you went under the water, and I lost you.
Yeah, it's in the video somewhere. Yeah. So you get an idea how these are not super fast boats. They're just kind of nice, relaxing. And there's Troy starting up. He just flips it after the boiler heats up, and it got a single channel for steering, and just lets it go. It sits there, runs for a little while. Every once in a while, he's got to bring it in to lubricate it. But other than that, he just kind of sits there and just putts away for about 5-10 minutes on a sterno. And on the left is the other steamboat, the white one. What's that?
Oh gosh, they're on a collision course.
Yeah, they get kind of close sometimes. You can see the steam coming out of the top there, out of the pipe. You see it? We had I don't know if it's a fireboat or a tugboat with a working water cannon. I don't know if it's on the.
I don't know if I had the video of that, but yeah, I think there's one there.
So lots of stuff. Every time we have this event, something different shows up. So that white steamboat had never been there before. That was the first time. There is my little tugboat pushing Phil's destroyer. They're both the same scale, 1/72nd scale. Yeah. So this is how big that tugboat really would be compared to the destroyer. I think it's a Flotilla class destroyer. No, we did it on purpose. He said, "Hey, why don't you go push me over so I can?" Yeah. So I'm actually pushing him around. I was kind of filming and pushing, so my driving isn't all that great. But I actually was able to push him out so he can drive off. And he goes, "Thanks." Gives me a thanks and drives off.
So give me a sense of scale. How big is that tugboat?
Oh, that tugboat is probably maybe 6-7 inches long. It's not very big.
Okay.
It's a little teeny tiny thing.
Is that the one that's powered by a servo motor?
Yep. I discombobulated a servo and used the drive components out of it to drive it. And it's a plastic model. Somebody converted it. There's an airboat from this is Don White.
Okay.
Terry,
is that a Stevens Aero waterboard?
I think it is.
Yeah, those are really good.
Yeah,
Thayer has one that he brings to the Neat Fair.
He's brought it out a few times. He's not going very fast with it at the moment, but he brings it out quite regularly. Yeah. We've had different types of airboats. We had one of the ones that comes from Horizon. That's basically electricity to noise converter.
Right.
And there's this little kid who was driving this. What was he driving? A little tugboat or something?
I
he did a pretty good job of it. Was it speed? I can't remember what he was driving, but the kid is like 3 years old or something. We got some speedboats, some pretty high speed. There's Lee putting in his FPV tug with the grappling arms. I got him.
I wonder if the submarine shots here coming up.
Yeah, I think it may be coming up shortly.
No, I should
say. Are you putting on FPV goggles?
So you put your camera in the thing. That's right.
Put my camera in there.
Here, let me back up a little bit.
Go ahead, back up a little bit. Yeah. So there's a shot of the FPV.
Really nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, neat.
And I think I got kind of close to the airboat there, or maybe I even hit it. No, I turned the last second.
To be rescued.
So there's the power boats. Power boats tend to stay away from the slow runners. They go on the other side of the pond, and there's a catamaran kind of thing, and there's a outrunner. It's kind of
that one has the for real outboard.
Yeah. No, wait. I think it's a fake outboard. Yeah,
okay.
I think it's got a drive shaft, a flexible drive shaft, and stuff like that. If I remember correctly.
Well, it's all contained in the outboard, or the motor's actually inside the hull.
I think on that one, the motor is in the hull, if I remember correctly.
Okay. So I remember I got that one Kyosho boat a few months ago that has a legitimate separate outboard that uses a flex shaft. Everything's contained in the outboard. Yeah, that'll be fun to play with.
It would be.
All right.
But anyways,
thanks, Steve.
Oh yeah, did we say episode 160? 160.
Yeah. This is episode 160. What's that shot of a transmission, transaxle or something? His icon, his avatar?
I don't see it. Mine's blank.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
No, okay, that's different. Okay then.
Yeah, so
Part of that universal joint.
Off was very fun.
Yeah. Thanks for coming down, and we'll probably have another one around December time frame, I think.
And I rescued like 3 boats that day. And I forgot we need to mark the tugboat every time I bring it in. I'm supposed to put a mark on it. So
it's not too late. You can do that now.
Yeah. Make it like an icon of upside down boat or something.
What did they have on the submarines? Like the tip of a boat sinking?
Oh yeah, like just the tip of the hull at an angle as it's sinking backwards.
That's what you need.
All right.
All right. So before we move on to the next event, I'm going to ask the question that I'm sure everybody else is thinking. Why does your Corsair only have 2 blades on the propeller?
Hold that thought, Fitz.
Good eye, Smithers. Good eye.
That's something we're going to come back to.
Good eye, Watson. Yes, we can talk about that later when we get to
talk about it later. I was
We
there.
we got a couple of really good stories from Best. At
Not
least a
only,
couple.
I was gonna say, not only I was there, but I documented that.
Oh yeah, working on that video now, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome. Did it turn out okay? Did you see the, did you watch the footage?
Yeah, fine, thank you.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That was fun. And I just,
Right.
I like Sparky. Well, Sparky's response the whole time was great. So we'll talk about it.
He's good for commentary.
He is, yeah. And input, yeah.
All right, so we'll table that one for now.
Okay.
I assume you guys have a fair bit to talk about for Best, so I'm going to try to hurry us through these other things.
Is it Best or Bomber? What's
Bomber first, wasn't it?
yeah? Bomber
Well,
was
yeah, Bomber's before Best, but the propeller's a Best story, right?
It's a Best story.
Okay, so we'll make sure we save a good chunk of time at the end for that. So the next event, if I recall correctly,
guys, we got tons of stories from Best.
yeah,
Well, do you want to share some stories, Carrie? I mean, you want to give us some updates on your digs?
there's not much to tell there. My workshop is slowly coming together. But yeah, I'll let you know when it's a significant change. How about that?
Okay.
I've got stuff on the workbench that I'm dealing with, but I'm working on them with boxes packed, always digging around looking for the supplies I need. So it's not settled yet, and that's okay.
Hey, look who joined us.
Hey, Kirk.
We will talk about Kirk.
Kiddo. Yeah.
All right, so I'm trying to go down the list of events here. I think the next one is the event that I went to up here in Wisconsin, and I'm going to have to look at the name of the club again. I'm horrible at that. The Rock River Aeromodelers Flying Circus. So that was an event a few weeks ago.
Rock River.
Yeah, that our buddy Phil Hinkle, a member of that club, he invited me down there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's about a 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive for me. But I went down there on the Saturday, and it's a pretty big event. I got there a little before lunchtime, maybe 10:30, and I was parked at the end of the flight line. There's Phil, all the way down. So there was a lot of people there, very eclectic mix.
Yeah, look at that.
Stuff you
Wow.
can see.
Oh, those are the big T-28s?
Yeah, those are the
The
big
giant scale ones?
CZs.
Yeah, they were doing
Wow.
formation flights, which I thought was very brave because they had 4 in the air at the same time, all the same color scheme.
Wow.
So
How
historically,
big was this B-24?
Oh, this one.
that's
This
the flight line.
yeah.
Oh, the flight one? Okay.
Yeah, that's Phil's. Actually, there were
That's
2
Phil's.
of them. One's Phil's,
Wow.
one's somebody else's. But
So the weather looks a little murky. Was it kind of cloudy,
it
rainy or
was.
something? Or?
I didn't see the sun all day, but it was nice. A light breeze, good flying weather.
Well,
How many
there's something to
models
see
of the
every day.
Grumman Guardian do you see?
Yeah.
None.
Yeah, so there was one there, and it flew well.
I understand it was a control line, popular in control line days, but
Yeah, but that one was very much RC. So they did some neat stuff. They had a bomber flight. They had a
look at that.
fighter flight, where they would just do gaggles. This was a turbine-powered helicopter that did a couple demos.
yeah,
And when
222.
I
Bell.
pulled into park, I don't know if you saw the B-36 on one of my flight line photos, but there's a nice big B-36 there. That one's just for Adam.
Is Adam with us? Because if he's not, I think we should explain what this is or why
No, he's on the
why-
he's on the
why
floor
Adam-
having convulsions.
he just got offline.
Right, so
Threw his computer at the wall.
He just rage quit the stream.
Terry, go ahead and fill them in.
well, we're talking about Adam Drain, who was our guest, 2 episodes ago? It seems forever. The guy who's involved with full-scale B-17s, one of his pet peeves is when people weather B-17s that they put streaking on what is essentially just an air outlet, right?
Yeah,
Real
just-
Yeah.
B-17s don't have stains there,
Yeah.
according to him.
this is
So,
bad. you're in the inside of your wing is on fire. If you're
Yeah.
do not add these stains, and that's just, and you know what? It's education because Adam has taught us that. So I probably never would have thought of that until Adam just you could just see it in his face. Stop adding stains here.
yeah, it was never on my radar. I never questioned it until he learned us better.
Yeah. So he's right. He's do not put stains there.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate, but
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, I think
and that's Phil's Corsair.
Oh, snap.
7 meter, I don't remember, but
yeah. Oh, nope. There's another photo.
There it is. It's a line.
that's the same one. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's more photos.
Oh, there's Adam.
There's the B-36.
Yeah, there's the B-36.
That's pretty snazzy.
Hold on. I gotta do a still of this so we can capture this for our cover and just have Adam's comment right there. Oh man, Adam, feel free to chime in and be more specific on why this is bad in the comments, so we can educate others. But thank you, Adam.
There's probably some people listening that own B-17s that have that sort of weathering.
They're going to go back and erase it now. See, Adam, you can fix this. You can help these people with B-17s fix their woes.
That's okay. Sprinkle some holy water on them. All is forgiven. It's fine. It's a understandable sin.
So how big was this B-36 roughly?
If I had to guess, that's about a 6-foot span.
Oh, okay. These are
sizable.
It ain't no plywood overcast.
It is not.
No. What, 72 inches?
Oh, there you go. You got your pair.
Yep.
No. Bigger.
So anyway,
nice.
I was there. I took some odd things. I had my micro apparel.
There you go, Adam. Look, no stains.
Yeah, there you go.
This gets Adam's stamp of approval.
What else did I do?
Wow, that's really nice.
Yeah, and they flew it very well in a scale-like manner.
Oh, that's an interesting mix of stuff.
Fitz is happy.
Yeah, I see a nicely weathered Zero and the Rafael. Is that Rafael? Looks like.
I think so. Yeah.
T-33.
T-33 and A-10 and looks like F-104 Starfighter.
Starfighter.
Interesting markings for the P-51.
I said
captured one.
Yep.
Black Widow.
Yep. P-61. There's the Guardian again.
Did you need details on the Guardian? Was it? I guess it was a scratch build from some plans or something.
I don't know any details.
And that next picture was just wrong. You see what he did?
What do you mean wrong? No, that's clever.
That's the motor right there.
All right. Yeah. So this triggers another small world story for me. So I told you I was parked at the end of the flight line and set up my little area. So the person next to me, this was one of his models. His name is Ryan. And this, I don't know what the size of it is. I think it's 1/3 of the original size of a Buzzard bombshell. And it's a kit that he produces. And what's his company? Prairie Aero Designs, I believe. But that motor mount is a 3D printed thing. It's kind of like the thing that Willy Nilly's does with the 049. But what is that?
That's older than that. It's maybe that's an ignition engine.
Yeah. I'm not sure what it is. When I was talking to him about it, I said, hey, that's a cool diesel. And then later on, I was thinking, maybe it wasn't a diesel.
No.
Maybe an old Wenmac or something, or older than that, maybe?
What's that?
Maybe an old Wenmac?
Oh. It's obviously not supposed to be an exact replica, but it certainly gives the illusion. And the model looked really good. I didn't get to see it fly. I think it was a little bit too windy for that. But you can go to his website. We'll have to put it in the release notes. But I believe it was Prairie Aero Designs. And he had a few other things. So neat stuff, neat guy. And the small world part of this is that I had spoken with Ryan before because he had done a really nice old timer model that I featured on Dubro's page. So he had posted pictures on Facebook. I reached out to him and we shared photos, did all that. And then not till the end of the day of being at this event did we put all the pieces together and figure out that we had interacted before. So tiny world. All right, keep moving. What's next?
Ooh.
Yeah, nice triplane. That was electric. And I believe it was a Balsa USA version. Oh, and this was for Fitz. Yeah, this was an ESM. You're going to have to help me with this. Zeta, it's
Key 84.
AI 100.
No, 84.
84. Okay.
I think it's going. Yeah, Key 84. Hayate, I believe. Frank. Yeah, that's
okay.
You don't see too many of those around.
No, you don't, and that's why they were putting it together close to me. So I took this picture, and then later on they had it all together. It's gas powered, and I spotted for the person who was flying it, and it flew really well. Unfortunately, on landing, there was a little bit of an incident, and it didn't seem like much, but he bounced it, and then on the return to the runway, I don't know what happened really, but the struts went through the wing and broke the spar, and
man,
it was pretty bad damage for what seemed like a pretty benign incident. But
man,
I don't know if he was going to try to repair it or not.
Was that Lee?
It happens.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
it
Ryan.
happens.
So that's the full scale of that buzzard bombshell.
Oh, I thought it was bigger than that.
Yeah, little tiny little guy.
Well,
Yeah.
it's intended to be indoor/park flyer version on a 2-cell and a itty bitty.
Well, and just a friendly reminder, all these photos that we're showing, if you want to see higher resolution, you can go to our Facebook page, RC Roundtable, and pull up these in the photo album.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm looking at my other monitor, and you can zoom in a lot more because our buddy Terry took some high resolution photos, so they're really nice. There you go, Fitz.
Ooh, helicopters.
I think what I uploaded to
Ooh, is that a
dumbed
hornet?
down to like 1920, but yeah. I assume that was a mosquito. There's the stuff I took.
That's Terry.
No, there's no
Yeah.
hornet, not a mosquito. Yeah, look at that. That's
So,
Terry stuff.
I
Yeah.
think we did. We talked
Only
before
one
about
plane
the
looks
Sonic
normal.
liner, the multiplex Sonic liner that I picked up recently.
Yeah,
I
tell us. You
Was this
didn't
its
really
first
tell us
flight?
how it flew.
No, I flew it at the club here in Green Bay for its remaiden.
Okay.
And so the flights here would have, did I fly it once or twice? I don't remember, but it would have been subsequent to that. And I'll refresh your memory here. Instead of the Speed 400s, it has 2 little Hymax inrunners with, I think, 5-inch props, maybe 6-inch props. And I'm running it on a 3-cell 3200. So it's, I think, 11 or 12 ounces lighter than it would have been stock with Godfrey power, at least 3 times the power.
Yeah, 3/4 pound.
Did you put differential in it?
What's that?
Did you put differential in it?
I did. And it's strangely not that effective.
I'm not
So-
surprised. The motors are really not that far apart. So
Yeah.
not much.
Yeah.
So, what are
and
your overall thoughts of it? Flying
it's an
quality.
interesting airplane to fly. Its orientation can be a little bit of a challenge just because of it. It's an odd shape in the air. And every time I've flown it so far, it's been completely overcast. So you don't get much contrast with the stuff that's on the top. So it's actually easy to fly, but you do have to keep your eyes on it and stay with it. Again, gobs of power, it'll climb straight up and accelerate and go till you chicken out. There is some throttle, I should say speed pitch coupling. The faster you go, it wants to climb. And if you trim it out for a moderate speed, then you have to retrim it at higher or lower speeds. But anyway, it's a fun airplane to fly. Of course, it gets a lot of attention.
Needs rockets.
It does not.
Oh,
It
no.
has rockets already. And the interesting thing to me is obviously it was designed to fly on what's 2-speed 400s, like 120, 150 watts. When you put,
On a good day.
when you put 3 times that in there, it's loosey-goosey. I don't think there's a spar in there, and that hatch for the top, the whole fuselage. So it's not really strong enough for the power that it has. So
Interesting.
it's not a pattern ship by any means, but I like it. It's fun. It's interesting, and I'll keep flying it.
That's all that matters. You
Yeah.
enjoy it.
And you'll notice on the top right is my old Great Plains Wright Flyer. There it is. Yeah, so that's an
Yeah,
old
still
kit from
flying.
20 years ago. I dug that out and flew it, and I forget just how much attention that thing gets. I could have I don't know what, a airplane shaped like a dragonfly powered by ladybugs. But if the Wright Flyer's there, that's what people are going to ask me about. And so I did a flight with
Interesting.
that. It slides off they had a Petromat runway there, so it'll do a sliding takeoff of that. And it still has the brushed geared motors in it. The only power system change I did was to use a 2-cell LiPo. So it flies nice, and people are just interested to see it do anything, really. So anyway, that's my fleet, and I had a good time. Thanks, Phil, for inviting me. And you guys will be interested to know that I took some loot from Dubro to donate to their raffle. And among that loot was a new product called Quicksands. And Lee, you should be interested in Quicksands.
Yes.
Because they're basically it's the same design as the old sanding bar. What do they call it? Easy Touch, something like that.
I think so.
So I'll give you a little bit of the backstory on that. Great Plains, or Hobbyco, was bought out by Horizon. And then they kind of consolidated their hardware and tool stuff then. Then at some point, I guess they decided what they were going to keep and what they weren't. And there was this semi-trailer truck full of stuff that they didn't want to carry anymore. And so Dubro bought that and sold a lot of it off on their website as a scratch and dent kind of thing. Well, among that loot was some of the original Great Plains Sanders, and they sold like hotcakes. It was crazy how much people wanted those. And so that spawned the idea, hey, maybe we need to make these again. So that's what happened. And that was in the middle of the pandemic, and it was hard to find places that could extrude that stuff to make it the same way, but it finally came through. So they are now available in the 5.5 and 11-inch lengths. And for those wondering, yes, the 22-inch is going to be coming out as well at some point in the future.
Woohoo!
So
Reach out and sand somebody.
Yep. And no, we are not currently planning to do the contoured version that does leading edges and papered stuff. But so anyway, so that was that. That's what did I call it? Rock River Air. Help me here. Rock River Aeromodelers Flying Circus.
Sure.
Thank you, Phil. I had fun. I hope to go back next year. What was after that? I've got to swap me. Probably Bomber Field would have been either that same weekend or right after. So tell me about Bomber Field, y'all. Our buddy Chris was there.
Yes, he was.
Go Fitz.
Oh, he put out a video today of his A7. Holy cow, that thing is fast.
That Fitz, you
Yes.
took the footage, didn't you?
That was actually my footage.
Oh wow, man,
The
that's
video, yeah.
looking.
It was. That was a sweet flying airplane. That thing scooted along quite nicely. Of course, I think it's got a 12-cell setup, if I remember correctly.
Whatever.
But yeah, it's all electric. A7 for Jet Hater Hobbies. A7 Slough. I think it's a 90
is that?
millimeter fan in it. You broke up. What was that?
What does SLUF stand for?
Slow, ugly, fast,
No,
something.
Fat. Fella.
Oh, yeah, fat fella. Fast or fat fella? I think fat, right?
Fat. Well, the first one
Yeah.
is slow, so
Slow, ugly, and I think the first one is fat, and the second one is use your imagination.
yeah.
So there's Bomber Field, Monteville, Texas. A glorious place to fly model airplanes. It's been there over 30 years. It's got, I don't know, main runway is like 700 feet long.
Mhm.
Paved with a long grass strip, even longer grass strip. And there's an area for fighting tanks. And it used to be a pond kind of thing, but it looks like it's no longer ever going to be a pond anymore.
Yeah.
Uh,
Although the parking lot is a pond sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. So as you can see, this was, did you take this Friday or Saturday, Lee? Do you know?
Don't remember. It
But
probably was
basically,
Saturday.
I think it looked like this from like Thursday on. It looked like this. It was just packed. They had a really good crowd. I had some numbers. I can't remember. It was 100 and something, 140,
Very close to 150. So we'll say 150,
Yeah.
149.
40 something, 47. That seems to be the number that pops in my head. But they had a really good turnout this year. And that's just pilot. They got more airplanes. And this is a great place. You can see there's a bleacher stadium seating for visitors on the top there, top left. And looks like a kind of a morning shot. You see a B-29. You got a couple of OV-10 Broncos. These are the big the Hangar 9 ones.
Yeah.
And they actually flew them in formation. You got jets, HSD jet. I think that's a turbine.
You don't have to
We had
describe everything. Let me just go through the slideshow. Just talk about your fond memories of it, because we got so many photos, and there's a video you put out that I'll try to bring up in a second, because you did a highlight reel, which was really really nice.
Yes, I did. Yes, Bomber Field. So yeah, we had a great flight. A lot of activities going on. We had gaggles, some really rare aircraft to fly.
Shout out to
one of-
Legend Hobby for sponsoring.
Yeah, Legend Hobby. Legend
Yeah,
Hobby
speaking
had
of.
a A1 gaggle. What's the name for the A1? There's
Skyraider.
Skyraider. That's it. Skyraider gaggle. I
I
brought a
know
couple
that one.
planes. That there's I had an issue with my Val. It wouldn't start.
Yeah.
I couldn't fly it. And then there's Chris Wolf and his son. Do you remember his name? I don't remember his name, Lee. I'm terrible with names.
I think
But they drove all the way up from Tennessee. And there's Michael with his 747 HSD. That was pretty neat to see that fly. It's a big mother.
yeah.
There's a lot of batteries in that sucker, but it flew great.
I don't know if I have photos that I took, but I'll try to get the photos I took and I sent to Michael. But you don't see many 747s bank angle 80 degrees.
So
It was
you're
so
on video saying you had a funny comment when you did the turn, and he goes, the passengers were saying, pilots saying to the passengers, on your left, you see the ground.
Right to the sky. Yeah, I mean, he had that sucker in one heck of an angle there.
Yeah, but he felt like a champ.
Yeah.
He was a big giant.
Here, I'm sorry. I'll let you describe.
Tiger cat. Tiger cat. That's it. Yeah, that was big. I mean, that's a monster. It's probably good.
Huge,
12-foot wingspan. So this is a big giant. There's Barry with his B-17.
Yep.
And lots of B-17s. This one, I believe, won one of the prizes because it had a very amazing flat metal finish. This is all metal. That's not covering as far as like monocoat or anything like that. So we talked to him a little bit. He said, "Yeah, that was a lot of fun putting that on." Not, but he got a reward for it, so it paid off. And he flew it a bunch of times, so it was not a hangar queen.
All right.
Yeah, he was a very nice guy.
Yeah, it was.
His name is Brian Lockhart.
Okay, got it. I know the name. Okay.
Yeah, but we have a video from AMA that you guys can watch on the AMA Facebook page. It's a live show we did with Chris and Fitz walking around, but worked out great. And I don't know if you got the joke, Fitz, but when I gave you guys the mics to go walk around, when you guys got a certain distance from me, I couldn't hear what you guys were saying. So when you guys started talking to him, some guy started up a plane behind me or next to me, and I just saw you guys talk. I was like, well, I hope it's a good story. And then I didn't hear it until after I had it uploaded. So then I got to listen to the interview, and that was such a great interview you guys did with Ryan. I mean, he was so good at describing all the work, and you and Chris and Ryan just were working great together. So if you guys haven't heard the interview of the gentleman who built this and described it, go to the AMA Facebook page and pull up that video. Yeah.
Chris Wolf was a great champ, following us around, talking. He did a real good job. He's got the knack for it. Chris Wolf, aka the RC Geek, if you watch his YouTube stuff. So yeah, there's some livery and panel line rivet detail. It was really, really nice. The more you looked at it, the more stuff you saw.
Yeah.
Oh, my eyes. Put fuel here. Man, you took a bunch of pictures of it.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of bombers. There's several B-17s, B-24, a couple of the B-24s. And
it is called the B-17 and Big Bird.
Yeah. So there was no shortage of bombers.
Well, that one was electric powered.
Yeah, there was at least one or two electric powered. So I had an opportunity. A guy, was it a P-36? Guy. Yeah, there was a guy had a B-25 electric powered that. Oh, look at the radials in that sucker.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'll go back. Well, I went for the whole thing.
It's okay. So I had an interesting time. That's Fort Worth.
Grant Schroeder.
Yeah, Schroeder. That's it, Mr. Grant. Great. It's always neat to see him fly that plane because he flies it sort of like a pattern plane.
Oh, he's a great. He had that thing. Did you know that he got that thing up to 185 miles an hour downwind?
Oh, really? It goes that fast?
Yeah.
Oh, gee, mama.
It was a bullet, man.
So, anyways, I was kind of conscripted to help this guy with his electric B-25, which is.
I remember that story. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he had never flown it before, and we wanted to run it up to see what it felt like. He had a problem with his elevator. We fixed that. We ran it up, and the power felt okay, but the plane was kind of high. And
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, nice, very nice model. So we went to go and try to take it off, and I got about halfway down the runway, and I realized, this is not going to work.
It wasn't just you. Everybody watching was going, "Hey, Fitz, why don't you just slow it down? We ain't going to take off." And it's like that's how it was running.
Yeah, it just wasn't going to make it.
There.
Yeah, it's electric. Yeah, it's electric motors.
Oh, just not running.
6L. It just wasn't. It wasn't enough power for its weight. So I backed off and boarded to take off. And the guy says, "Yeah." I asked him, "Did he have other props he can try?" And ultimately, he took it home and says, "Hey, I'll put it on a watt meter." And he said he's going to send me some numbers. I saw him at a swap meet recently, and he said, "Yeah, I'll put it on a watt meter and give you some numbers." Okay,
but we have to talk about this B-25 and the end of Saturday and awards.
Oh,
I hope you guys, those of you who are in the chat room, this part is worth listening to. Oh my God. Because you got to look at this plane and your buddy Fitz in the corner of the window and then hear what happened Saturday after the event.
Okay, so they give out the awards, And they go through the war thing, and I'm just sitting here. I'm just waiting. Okay, I'll hang around. And they called my name and said, "Oh yeah, and
Best electric.
For Best Electric,
He's go.
Fitz Walker."
On, can I pull? Wait, let me see if I can zoom in on you. I gotta solo you. Pull it up.
Yeah, there you go. I won an award for best second place, Best Electric, and I'm thinking it's for my BV-141. I was like, "Oh yeah, okay." I'm not surprised. It's kind of a neat plane. And he goes, "For flying the B-25." Like, wait, what? Wait, come again?
I was,
like, yeah, B-25.
I was laughing so hard.
I was like, number one is not mine. Number two, it didn't fly.
But you still have the mug.
But why did you get this? Why did you still get to keep the mug?
Because I said, okay, well, you get it for the BV-141.
There you go.
Like, okay.
Oh my God, how many times do you get an award for a plane that's not yours and didn't fly?
Yeah, I got an award for a plane that's not mine and didn't fly.
Anyway, I know you guys may not appreciate it, but it was hilarious for me to watch them. You know,
It was. I was like, wait.
This is like I didn't bring a B-25.
Yeah, I was like, did I hear you right? What?
Anyway, they saw you with the plane and they just thought maybe you were taxiing back. So
Yeah. I guess they thought it flew and then I was taxiing back. So, anyways,
There's
in fact, there's
your
like
Axis
BV-141
squadron.
in the background. Yeah, and Axis powers and
So that's
the
what
valve.
won- that's what won for second place.
Yeah, the one in the background there, the asymmetrical German plane.
looking surfboard in
So-
the front.
Surfboard.
The wing. on that bow.
Yeah, it's funny because I had not flown this plane for quite a while. It's been hanging up for probably a couple of years or so. And I figured, I really need to fly this thing again, bring it down, do some quick, now that I found the wingtips, do some quick TLC on it.
Did we talk about that on the show?
I don't know.
That was a good story.
Those are the ones that went missing.
Had a happy
were
ending.
in the garbage.
Yeah, I thought my father-in-law had thrown them away, but it turns out I did find them later in a corner, dark corner somewhere. Anyways,
You hold a
it's a neat
grudge
plane to
over
fly.
nothing.
Yeah. And I was like, I gotta crash build them. So, anyways, and these OV10s. Oh, this
Okay.
one won as well. This DC3. I think he won something. Best twin, maybe, or something. I can't remember.
I don't know. It may have won for. Oh, maybe it was twin. I want to say
Yeah.
it was post World War II because I think this is after the war, so I think it was a post World War II.
Is that
Civilian.
the same owner as the aluminum B-17?
Yes,
Okay.
Ryan Lockhart.
Thank you.
And by the way, we have a video. And I know I'm interrupting. I feel like I'm doing Terry's thing when he always explains what an abbreviation is. What does BEST stand for? Lee, do they know what it is? So Ryan, who built this DC3, we have a great video on our social media video channel. So yes, it's on our TikTok page and it's on our Instagram. And I think we also have it on Facebook because I think I recorded it live from Facebook. But I have a flight video of this and it's taken off. It's gotten some really good shares and a lot of good compliments. So it's worth watching that short little video of this DC3.
Actually, it should be a C-47.
Well, that's a good question because when I look up this plane, it actually comes up as a DC3.
Yeah, it doesn't have the bubble.
Really?
No.
Yeah, so
In the front.
I did that research too. I was almost going to say C-47, but they actually considered it a DC3. It may not have the armor plating on the bottom too.
Yeah. I should note that he flew it really well. He flew it a bunch of times. And one thing I noted, because I remember hearing, I can't remember if it was on a podcast or something, about how to land a real DC-3. And it looked like he emulated that when he was flying it as well.
Yeah, push that nose down on the brakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't land at a three-pointer, and you don't land and try to get the nose down. You land, and you keep the nose level, and you hit the brakes, like Lee was saying, to keep the tail up until you run out of airspeed, and then you run out of control speed, and then you let the tail down. And that's what he was doing. He'd land, and you can see him putting a little bit of down elevator in it, and it just kind of run flat. You can see my hand here. Run flat for quite a while till he was almost out of speed, and then it finally would drop down. So,
Hey, Fitz, do you have footage of the DC-3 flying in your video?
yes, I do.
All right. So I'm
A
going to
little
pull
bit.
this off because we're going to speed things up a little bit. And why don't you guys chat? I'll see if I can pull that video link so people can find it.
Okay. 2 questions for you, Fitz.
Yeah.
First, did you think that the DC-3 flew relatively scale-like? And I ask that because most of them that I've seen, like the Zeroli ones, which are pretty big, they seem to fly much too fast.
I'm trying to remember. I think it did fly a little on the fast side, I mean, he wasn't doing loops and rolls with it, but probably a little faster in scale, but not. I don't think it was egregiously so. But you can check the video. I don't remember. I was more impressed with his landings, and, and he was doing low passes and stuff. So I don't remember where it is on the video. It may take a while to find it. The video ended up being pretty long. Yeah, there's Mike's 747.
Wow. That thing's got some guts. Look at it climb.
Yeah, it's got a lot of power, and it was pretty speedy. It zipped around quite well. Yeah, there you go.
We can see the top of the plane from the pits.
All right, question 2. How was the pizza?
I didn't have any.
Oh, it wasn't bad.
There was enough there to feed a small town, right?
They got through quite a bit of it. When I first saw it, I was like, "I'm going to be able to eat all this," and I'd say at least 4/5 of it was gone by the end of the day or whatever.
All right.
So it was okay. It was not too bad. It was.
Were there any spec how much it weighed or the diameter or anything?
I think it was 8-foot diameter, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
There's Chris Wolf's 2-seater Skyraider.
Okay. Is that electric?
A little bit of a bounce. Yes, it is. And it had a sound system. You can hear it on the video. You go.
Yeah. I've had those. I've seen those. I've never had one or seen one that really impresses me.
That one was fairly loud. Here's a nice Wildcat. I don't remember. Did that fly? I think it never did. There's a local jokester, Daryl. Yeah, he was saying something silly, so I kept it in the video.
And by the way, just a reminder, guys, this is on Hobby View's channel. This is Fitz's YouTube channel, so look it up right there, find it, and then look at all his fun videos. But this one's shared on his channel.
Yeah, there's my BV.
My footage. We'll show my footage.
Thank you, Lee, for photographing that. I think it's the only time I had videoed it. I think Terry had taken some stills, before, but I don't think we ever had any video. So actually pretty easy plane to fly. It's got some minor quirks, but other than that, it's actually it's got a fairly light wing loading, and it's neat to fly around. Here I pull a loop with it, I loop and roll it, and that kind of stuff.
Do you have any corrections when you go vertical?
When I do loop it, it does need a touch of aileron because there is some roll coupling with that half elevator. It's very minor, but you can do it without it, but it does help. I feed it. I can't remember if I put in a little left aileron or something.
Hey, Fitz, foreshadowing.
Yeah. Yes. We've got a BV141 story coming up.
Yeah, coming up. Well, stay tuned.
It's a good one.
Don't leave. You got to stay. We'll try to get things moving to best, but that's a great story you don't want to miss.
Let's say that my nickname here hints at it.
And for those of you listening without the benefit of video or photos, the BV-141 was the relatively famous asymmetric German observation plane from World War II.
Yeah, it's kind of there you go. All right, good timing. So there's the DC-3/C-47. And he does his takeoff run there.
I don't want to sit here and let people watch videos while we're talking because do that on their own time. I want to do talking and story time. So you just keep talking. I'm going to go fast forward through a couple of clips. But the DC,
okay, so you can get an idea how fast it flies. So it flies, it's a scale model, so it flies a little. And we have an 8-foot pizza that they put into this guy. Has a giant pizza oven that he'll load up with wood and propane. And it took a bunch of people to put it in. So we all gathered around and slid the pizza into the thing. My Gliables B-24 reborn.
Was that intentional to start on the grass and transition to the?
Yeah, it's a little squirrely on takeoff. Yeah,
all right.
He almost ran into the fence earlier, so yeah, he moved it out further out.
Well, okay. So he rebuilt it. He had an incident.
He rebuilt it.
Yes,
that's only a few flights after he finished rebuilding it.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's back up and running. Yeah, it was good. He flew it several times. Although I think he lost his nose gear on one of the last flights. We had several B-25s you see taking off here. That was a gas-powered one. Of course, you're a bunch of different warbirds. This event has lots and lots and lots of warbirds.
Here you go. Here's some fun.
There's a little bouncy.
No, but wait, because what you have is right here.
Yeah, we lost one that looks like a totaled. he had landing gear problems, and you could see him trying to do rolls and stuff to get the gear down. And I think he got a little too aggressive with trying to get the gear down and stall spinned it in a pattern. Big, giant turbine, F-16. There's several turbines that flew there today, including a really aerobatic. There it is. This has thrust vectoring. You can see it spinning like a top. This guy flew it really, really well.
Very well.
And with a smoke system. And it was just a joy to watch this thing fly. A little spiral down. And he'd do square loops with it. He'd do these kind of spins and flips and that kind of stuff. I think technically is it a Eurofighter? No, I think it's a J-10. Yeah, here's this kind of a square loop. His first attempt was a little wobbly, but he did it in another one that was really nice. So he did a nice show. Chris Wolf has the whole show on his channel on the RC Geek. He filmed the whole spiel. But anyways, so yeah, we had a great time at Bomber. Lee, did you fly anything? I don't remember. I don't think you did. Did you? You didn't bring anything.
What?
So
Why not?
yeah, but he spent his time photographing.
I was taking pictures and video and stuff. I just put the link for the, I don't know if you guys can grab it, but in the chat room, I did a link back to the B-17 video. And I was taking stuff for Fitz too. So I was having a grand old time. We had a good time.
Oh, also, Lee, it's your fault, man. I'm blaming you.
For what?
You could have taken a day off or something, but you had to work on Friday, and we had to get there late. And as I was walking up, there's this guy walking from somewhere.
Oh,
he just bought.
Yeah, we saw. Okay, yeah, because I saw it. I was like, "Holy smokes!" The guy said, "I just bought it." I was like, "Oh man!"
Like the one thing I would have bought instantly. This guy had just bought for apparently a really, really good price too.
Yeah.
Somebody built. You know what a Shinden is? J7 Shinden.
Oh yeah.
Canard.
Yeah.
You never see them, and this guy had two of them. One was partially built, one was basically completely built, but it was like a 40 size, kind of smallish. And it looked like it'd be a lot of fun to get in the air. And them guys walking up with him was like, "You selling those?" Like, "No, I just bought them."
You didn't try to talk him out of one of them?
Kind of, sort of. He's a local guy, so I see him every once in a while. So
yeah, you'll end up
I
with
told
him.
him, to give me first dibs on it and stuff.
Yeah.
No, Paul, you can't have it.
Yeah.
Mine.
Hey, Paul, thanks for joining us. Hey, we also got the free flight society here. Not much free flight at Bomber, by the way, unless the engine died.
Yeah, not intentional.
Yeah. But thanks,
Okay,
guys.
are we done with Bomber?
I think so. I mean,
guess so.
it was great. So
Is that anything?
I was gonna say I still have Saturday. I've gone through Friday's pictures. I didn't share them. I'm just shipping the other pictures, but I now have to work on Saturday's pictures, so I'm way behind. So yeah, I need to get those posted so I can show everybody. But yeah, it was a really good time, and glad we got to see Chris out there, and Fitz the video. Thanks again for doing the AMA video for me. But the weather wasn't too bad. Our friends from Mexico were there having a grand old time. They won several awards, so it was nice that they could hang out.
Did you see there was a young lady with them that was flying his biplane, a SPAD or something?
I know
landed, they started clapping and stuff. You know what the story behind that?
Well, I know it's David Fernandez's daughter, and so I know him just from previous years. And I think maybe this was one of the first times she flew, but because she flew it, she won an award. So I think she won the World War I pilot award.
Yeah, it was a very nice looking. I think it was a SPAD. Yeah. It's in my video at the very end, but I did know the story behind it.
I haven't talked to them. I don't know who's running the Facebook page for Bomber. I don't know if it's Barry, but if it is, I know they took photos of all the winners. So maybe go look online, guys, see if they have them, and you can see some more photos. I'm sure they're probably resharing photos and videos from other people that were there. There were quite a lot of photographers. Hey, Fitz, by the way, did you happen to, I don't think so, but did you happen to see me when I was on the grass? I think it was Friday on the flight line, laying down, taking low shots, and one of the OV-10s nearly ran me over?
Yeah, that's on the video.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I
want to dig that up.
Video.
I wasn't. I mean, if you saw that, I wasn't nervous at all because I was just going to roll out of the way. But I was down low, and that thing it was going down the runway, just turned right at me. It was like beelined at me.
Yeah, how close was it to you?
2 feet.
Oh wow, okay. Because I was recording the landing.
It was arm's length. It stopped arm's length for me.
Yeah, and people started shouting, "Heads up, heads up!" I was like, "What?" They're like, "Oh."
Oh, that was Saturday. Okay, it was Saturday because he was behind me. He was videotaping it, so maybe he's got
yeah.
good footage of that. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe he has some good. Yeah, because mine got a little bit jumpy because I was looking for what they were talking about, and I realized it was you.
Yeah.
'Cause I was zoomed in on it. You weren't in my field of view.
yeah.
I read the close call with the 262.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
good footage, but it doesn't scare me. But a Bronco has 2 Cuisinarts on the front.
Well,
Yeah.
But here's the thing: I've been involved in 3 near miss, 3 close calls. So yeah, the one at Scobie was the closest because I felt my hair on my hand go get dusted, man, when that plane flew by. This OV-10 wasn't too bad. However, Fitz, were you there when that guy's? I'm pretty sure it was a Cub took off. This was at Bomber, and it flew right over my head. And I was in a pilot station, and then it went over the stands.
Oh my gosh!
Were you out there, Fitz? I don't know if anybody got that. Paul asked if I was wearing brown pants. I didn't wear brown pants for the OV-10, but this guy who flew right over my head, I hurt my back. I'm not kidding you guys. I hurt my back. I was walking like this, going, I gotta walk this off because my body jerked really quick. But
that was a Cub-like thing, right?
Yeah, it was a couple like thing, but that flight reminded me of the B-17, 3-4 years ago.
Oh yeah.
It came at you and me. So, but this one was much closer, and I think the reason this one scared me more is because it was in air. The guy had throttled up, and the props in the front.
So yes, I got like the last couple seconds of it, so you can see it going over the pits and over your head. So yeah,
that is correct. It was a near hit. That was
near
probably.
Hit, yeah.
That was the one where my pants probably turned a little brown. Paul
You had a full head of hair before that.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a tough one. But other than that, it was a great time. So forget the near-death experience. It's worth it. Guys, if you haven't been to Bomber, you got to put it on your calendar. Also, on behalf of Legend Hobby, next year, big anniversary. We're going to do things bigger and better. We're going to try to promote it some more. Maybe Fitz and I can camp out there this time around. I'm just throwing that out there so we can spend all the days there. I'm looking I don't get his face expression, but so put that on your calendar next year. It is definitely worth attending. It's a lot of fun.
All right, cool. So let's move on past Bomber.
Do we want to take a pee break? Do we put a little interlude right here for people to run, go grab something, come back? We'll just because best is fun. Best is a lot of fun.
We should apologize to everybody who's online. We try to be more interactive, but we're just so far behind and trying to catch up on all this stuff. I haven't been paying as much attention as we should.
All right. I'll agree. The volunteers, all the staff, all the members. And I know Mike McCormick was working hard to get the kitchen repainted or cleaned up, and that was great. So I know he won an award too, I think, for all his hard work. So
nice.
Thanks, Mike, for doing that.
Hey, now Lee, there was a question further back asking if the questions for both of you. Are y'all going to Perry again?
It carries on my secondary list because I want to put Joe Nall first.
They're the same time frame.
Yeah. Right? Unfortunately, it's just a schedule thing. It's like I'm limited to my travels. Perry is on my list, but Perry is secondary to Joe Nall. So if I can only do one, I'll do Joe Nall before Perry.
All right.
And although I thoroughly love it and so forth, I mean, honestly, because of that thing right there, the yellow aircraft and a couple other planes I bought, including that one right there, going to buy something is not on my agenda right now. I
saw that structure in front of the lamp. I couldn't make out what it was, but that's the horizontal stab of the P-38.
That is correct. Yep.
Oh man, that thing's more see-through than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's not painted. It's just the fiberglass.
Oh, still, that's neat. All right. So what came after? You guys do a swap meet or something? Or was that?
No, it was best 2 weeks later.
All right. So
what's the next event? Weekend, but
yeah, the swap meet was this past weekend.
Okay. So the next event for you guys would be best? Okay. Well, I've got one in between. It'll be a quick one.
Okay.
A couple of weeks ago, there was a swap meet in Oshkosh. It was actually at the EAA facility. There's a little pavilion somewhere around the corner back behind the museum. And I believe it was the Winnebago RC Club, local to Oshkosh Club, had a swap meet there. I went down and I took, what did I take? I took one thing to sell and ended up not selling it. That's fine. Bought a couple things, a few odds and ends, some batteries, and I got something for you, Lee, and it's a surprise.
Yay!
But the big thing I walked away with was a Dragon Force 65, which I had told you guys before that
Oh yeah.
I had one because you guys raved about them from your fuzz. But looking online, they're very expensive if you can find them. They're like $200 or $300, right? So there was one at the swap meet for a good deal with the radio, with batteries. So I got it. I haven't taken it for a test drive yet, but I will. And
cool.
Yeah, it's a high quality boat. What's the Joy's Way is the name of the company that makes it, which I just get kind of a toy feel from it because that's not a mainstream thing. But no, this is like a serious piece of hobby grade equipment.
They're a racing class, and they were popular.
Yeah, the transmitter's a little unique, but it's all good stuff. 2.4. So yeah, I'll let you guys know.
There's different variations of the Dragon Force 65. I think, right? I think they make little tweaks here and there over time.
Beats me. This one looks to be mileage. I'll send you some pictures offline. You can see. But yeah, I reached out to you guys when I saw it and asked you if what I was about to pay for it was reasonable, and I think it was. So good. They came home with me.
Congratulations! You got a sailboat. First one.
Yay!
No, because those micro sailboats a few weeks ago. And I actually tried to sail it a couple times recently. And I look out the window at the lake behind the house, and I can see a little bit of a breeze. I'm waiting for a day where it's got a little bit of breeze. So I get everything set up, and I go out there, and then it's just dead calm. Like literally a couple times I launched it, and then it's just need a little wind here.
When Chuck Porth was still alive and he was getting me into the hobby, I went to a boating event with him with the Dragon. And my neighbor Steve was with me, and we got to a race, the regatta. We put our boats out there. We hit through and the wind just died, and the anger just built up in me because, I was like, "This is not fun. We're just sitting there floating. There is nothing happening." He goes, "Oh no, this is part of the contest." I was like, "This is not part of sailing. This is part of floating, and this is not what I want to do." And I just kept building and building. I was like, "I can't do the sailing stuff. I'm not going to do it." I think that's why the tugboat works so well for me.
Yeah, real sailboats have engines on them too.
Oh my god, it was so painful to just sit there and not do anything and just hope to float to a win.
Oh yeah, I did a thing on Instagram because I had to go rescue the boat. And I had enough wind to get out about 30 feet away from the dock, and then it just wasn't going anywhere. So I took my little John boat out and shot some video of it going nowhere. So anyway, that was my swap meet story. Funny thing, I'm starting to see familiar faces at the few Wisconsin events I've been to. So yeah, same thread that our little group of toy lovers is incestuous and small, but that's good. I'm looking forward to attending more events around here. Now I feel like I know a few people.
Well, so start doing some live footage. Grab your phone and start a live show on RC Roundtable. Come on, guys. You should.
Yeah. You'll have to talk me into it. I feel, as much as I feel comfortable talking to you guys on this format, when I turn on my phone and try to do one of those things, I don't know. My tongue just ties in this weird knot, and
maybe people don't want to hear you talk. They just want to see the pretty pictures. So you just say, "Hello, this is Terry. I'm at an event. Here's some pictures." And then yay, let the fun begin.
All right. Good advice.
You're welcome. Yeah. Come on, man. More content. You can do it.
Okay. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. Are we ready for best now?
Man, we're an hour in and we've got another hour of best.
So you guys are going to have to focus, be efficient, be entertaining, and wow me.
Golly, I'm trying to figure out whether we can focus on the key stuff because I don't want to do this for an hour because that's not fair. But I want to definitely make sure we touch on Magic Powers Walker here. That's definitely number one. I think we'll start by here. I'll show you the pictures and we'll just have fun here. But this was like Thursday, so there's not a lot of cards here because we've set up our campsite and got everything running. So, but man, if you just look at that picture, it just feels like good weather, right? Just feels good. It was exactly what it was. The wind was unfortunately crosswind down the runway, so we had some issues there, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, really, overall, I think the temperatures were fantastic. We've had some bests where we were just sweating up a storm.
Freezing your fannies off.
Yeah, then this was weird because during the day it was kind of warm in the sun, but man, at night it got to 52 degrees in my cargo trailer.
52.
52 degrees. Well, that's cold, man. If you were not prepared for it.
As warm as it got at that event I went to in Beloit.
Oh man, but yeah. So Joe here this is a 3D printed bald eagle.
Very nice.
And he won for what is it? Best tech, technical award, technical achievement.
I thought it was best of show
or best of show. So I'm not sure who won technical achievement. Maybe I think Magic Powers Walker for technical achievement. We'll get back to that shortly. Right. But yeah, so that was great, and that's a variety of 3D printed stuff. So I think it's light PLA on the tail feathers and stuff, and the leading edges. What's the harder stuff? Darn it! I've just completely
PLA plus.
PLA? No, not what PLA.
ABS.
It was ABS. So I think the leading edge was ABS, and the rest of it was PLA light.
So PLA.
Yeah.
Is that the 3D lab print design?
I think so. I don't think he did it himself. I think he just grabbed plans. But it was great because I'll tell you, we saw it flying, and it was just beautiful. Yeah.
I hope you put googly eyes on it.
Yeah. So there's my son Ryan flying.
He's flying an Ultrix.
Yep, with his B-25 shirt on, and got a nice little hand toss guy there. So these are those pictures I just quickly grabbed. That's my new cargo trailer, folks. And I thought it worked out pretty good. I think I only had minor damage, and my setup. That's kind of like the standard setup I've had for the past several years. The charging table on the left and then a work table in the front, and that's it. It works great.
Hey, didn't you just get that Porter recent swap meet?
Yes, I did. That was from the Richardson swap meet, and so its maiden was there.
Okay,
and I had to do some work on it first to get it going. There were some minor mistakes on control surfaces and stuff, and I had to fix a couple broken things, but really enjoyed it. Yeah, I was going to say it's on the cover of our Facebook page right now, and once I tweaked it, it's great. And then the landing gear is a little awkward. I'll jump on it real quick. Just bounced a lot, even though it's got spring-loaded gear. And
why it bounces?
No, I mean, we tried some different stuff, and one wheel was actually stuck. I found out that it was jammed up, but it works great on the grass. I mean, it was like night and day. Once you started just rolling on the grass, I could do these long rollouts in the grass and take off, and so it really is more of a grass lover. But did you know I brought my Cessna 150?
I saw pictures of it.
Flew great, man. I was so happy, and thanks to Fitz for. I think was it Fitz? No, I'm sorry. It was Nathan. Nathan did a video for me.
No, I took some video too.
Oh, okay. Both y'all. So yeah, that thing just flies so great. It was a joy to fly. Brought my PBY. And if you look there are two Thunder and Lightnings.
Yeah, the orange one is new, huh?
That belongs to my buddy Steve.
Nice.
So yeah, Steve built one finally. Those are from parts I gave him. So after 3 years later, we had a blast flying them together. And he was like, I can't believe we hadn't done this sooner. So that was fun. I'm glad we got to. In fact, here's a funny story. Here's a make fun of Lee story. I get those. Yeah, I know you do, because we didn't even talk about the auction.
Right. Thanks for reminding me of something to make fun of you of.
Yeah, so here's another Leeism for you folks. I pack the trailer. I get there. I'm sitting with my friends. I'm unloading the trailer, and then I pull out I think it was the Cessna 150, and my face went white. No, and I think oh my God, no, it wasn't. I think it was before we went to dinner. Yeah. So I was sitting there and I realized I had 3 boxes of lipos for the trip. And I typically put what I need in this one bag, but I put other lipos in these boxes so I could go through them. Well, I picked up the bag and my mind just went, oh, you got your lipo bag. Don't worry about it. And I left the boxes on my workbench at the house. So after dinner, I hauled butt down back to the house because it's only an hour drive. So I did the drive of shame to go get my batteries. And then I realized I had not packed the Thunder and Lightning. So I put the Thunder and Lightning in the car. And then I packed another plane. So it was kind of good because okay, now that I've unloaded stuff, I can put more stuff in my truck. So I hauled more stuff back to the event. And so I got my Thunder and Lightning, and it was fun to fly with Steve. So that's all I had to say about that.
All right, good.
But the PBY flew great. I had some nice compliments from people who had got to see it fly. So it's a great grass runner. But CZ Cub, that's Fitz's A10. That was nice, Fitz. You flew that real well.
Thanks.
And he brought his what was that thing called?
Leprechaun?
Leprechaun.
Yeah, you got a lot of attention on that too.
I actually ended up flying that quite a bit.
This F-16, man. I don't know if I can zoom in enough. Oh my gosh. Can you see this, Terry?
Yeah, it's Dusty fella.
No canopy.
Oh,
Nope,
okay.
just like that.
Yeah, it flew.
Yeah, that was I got it from a friend of mine. He was in the
that's yours,
chat.
Fitz?
Yeah, it's mine.
Okay.
And I decided I didn't know if it was fly. This is the old Kyosho F-16. And so I said, well, I'm not going to spend any time cleaning it up, making it look pretty or anything. Just threw a receiver in it and decided to fly it off a 2-cell lithium. It's got a brushed motor in it. This is a brushed EDF. And I had Sparky throw it. He gladly gave it a chuck, and it flew.
All right.
It was marginal for the first about 5-10 seconds. You got to let it get on step, just hold altitude. And then after a while, I got on step, and it was actually flew pretty well for considering its very, very mild power setup. I was able to loop and roll it, and I ended up flying it several times throughout the weekend.
Was it full throttle the entire flight?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Only backed off the land.
And by the way, for those of you who've been with us since the beginning, I think this has 4 blades on it right at this picture.
Yeah.
Moving on. But I'm going to run through these guys because again, all these photos are available on our Facebook page and our photo albums. It's best. And I've got a couple of more that I took that I'll share. I'll add to the album. I think Fitz, you added some too. But guys, again, great weather. There's Nathan with his little, I don't know what that is.
The Crescendo.
Crescendo. I was thinking Crescendo. Yeah. Yeah, kind of a North Star-ish.
Yeah.
Polaris.
Yeah.
The shuttle came back again this year.
That shuttle's neat.
Yeah,
It is.
it is. And he flies it great. It's highly entertaining to watch it fly.
And I think what I also like is whenever he's walking out there, people just either land or they wait because they know it's going to be a great show.
Yeah. If you look closely, the smallest helicopter to the right only has 1 blade. And a counterweight.
I can zoom in. That's right. That was the technical achievement award.
Yeah, that was a technical award. Yeah.
Off-centered. So this is the weight, the counterweight.
So a single blade helicopter. Interesting.
Yep. And it's aerobatic, fully aerobatic. You wouldn't know it only had 1 blade when he flies it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have a couple of videos too that I need to share, so we'll do that too.
Was that the high-speed Wacko? If I remember correctly, when that thing was flying, it was like outrunning the warbirds. It was fast.
Wait, hold on. Go back to that last photo. Is it just me, or does that Spitfire have a really long wingspan?
I think that's just the wide-angle lens distortion.
Okay. Yeah, I remember I did that meme a few months ago, making fun of the Dunkirk.
Yes, yeah. The glide ratio. Yeah.
So it reminds me
Yeah, I like that movie, but that glide thing at the end was a little wonky. This is the Flex Innovation RV8. That flew really nice.
I think he may have got best aerobatic.
Yeah, it was very aerobatic. You do hoverbatics with it, but it also would slow down really slow. You'd fly like just walking speed down the runway.
Yeah, that was a neat plane. Tom and Sparky.
Yeah, Sparky.
Sparky and Tom's wife.
Yep. Oh, there we go.
There it is. Yeah, old Dusty.
That clip of epoxy right there, just holding for dear life to keep the front nose on.
Yeah. In fact, I had to re-epoxy the front at the field.
Now that you know it flies, are you gonna maybe wipe it down and fix it up?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Because Sparky mentioned he might have a canopy that would fit because I don't have a canopy.
Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe modifying it somewhat or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, all right.
I'll think about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that you left all the patina on there.
Yeah, I did it on purpose. To show it's an ancient. I mean, these things were back early 90s. I mean, late 90s, I think, when they came out.
Yeah, probably.
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
It's very, very, especially brushed. There was some field work. A gentleman asked me if I could resolder some lights on his night
radiant?
Radiant, yeah, night radiant. So yeah, sure. So I did a quick solder job with him so he could do some night flying. I just snapped a quick picture of it.
Oh my god!
Oh, yeah, I forgot to ask the piano. Tell me about this.
It's a flying piano. He had this, and he had like a drum set that flew. and basically it's a big flying wing,
Oh, a plank.
a plank that looks like a piano. Yeah,
Have any airfoil to it?
I don't think this one did.
I don't think
it
so.
just flat. Yeah,
It was all magic.
All right, flew pretty well.
yeah. She's seen it fly pretty good.
All right.
Oh, this is
a Mitsubishi.
is it John? Oh, you killed me. I forgot his name. I think it's John. Paul. Sorry, his name is Paul. He's had it before. He's a great guy. He's an actual airline pilot, and he scratch built this Mitsubishi MU2. And he always gets a kick that I actually recognized it when he first brought it out. And he let me fly it. I flew it around once or twice. And nice flying model, very nicely powered, mildly aerobatic. It's great. He's working on making it, Paul Stelly, thank you. And he's working on making it so that I might be able to build one myself. He's working on some plans and maybe a 3D printed fuselage, he said. And really great guy, great, and really, what do you call it? Industrious in build. In fact, is there another picture, Lee? The next one? He brought, oh, I got a story for that too. I was thinking, anyways, he brought an F-11
Tiger?
I forgot, Tiger that he scratch built. And not only did he scratch build the plane, he scratch built the landing gear that he 3D printed, retractable landing gear. And it was really neat looking, and it seemed very durable because he added some metal bits to it. But so he designed his own landing gear and 3D printed it, and because he said he's got a really weird landing gear system for it. Now you look at it, it goes, yeah, it's kind of funky. It's pretty neat that he brought that again and let me fly it.
Yeah, that would be a unique one because I think they had a really thin wing, so the gear goes in the fuselage, and then of course being a carrier-based plane, it's going to be beefy. So it
goes right in the fuselage, a little bit like F-16-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and there's Keith Sparky's BD5. He let me fly this too. And this has got a little bit of a story. He's banged this thing around. It's kind of giving him heartache, and he was about ready to throw it away or throw it. And he said, "Well, let me try." He ripped the landing gear off. It's at a hard landing, so they actually has wheels on the bottom, but they're just not. They're sort of semi-embedded like an A10. And he let me fly it, and he's got this throttle elevator mixing in it, and it's really funky. Half the time it works okay, and half the time it's way off. And so you're flying it around, and your elevator trim is it's like your elevator is always out of trim sometimes. So I flew it around fine, and I think I did some mild aerobatics and landed it. And after I landed it, he's like, "Why don't you just take it home and you can fiddle with it?"
I'm sure he didn't have to ask you twice.
He did ask you twice, so it's sitting over there and in the corner. So I'm going to fly it myself and try to see if I can tame it down a little bit. So I have it on very long-term loan from him. He said, "Yeah, just play around with it, do what you want with it." So it's big. I should mention it. This is like probably third scale, which for BD5 is not super huge, but it's pretty big. It's probably, I don't think it's got an 80-inch span. What do you say, Lee? About 70-inch span, maybe? It's pretty big.
Okay.
60? I didn't measure it, but it's large. It's actually quite large.
That canopy's big. It's a big hunk of
yeah.
plastic.
It's got this big fat fuselage and little wings. So anyways, I need to check it out. Maybe this coming weekend I'll pull it out and tinker with it.
You know which wing he emulated? So originally they had two wings, right?
He cheated. I think it's got more cord than any of the original wings. Yeah, you're right. The original one had like 3 different size wings. They had the death wing, the semi-death wing, and okay, you can fly now wing.
Oh yeah, I meant to ask you about that thing. What is that? So
I have no idea.
It looks like this giant foam board plane that's a twin.
I think it was corrugated plastic. If I'm correct.
Oh, is it?
I think
Coroplast.
I think it's Coroplast.
Yeah. It's so unique. The nacelles are like way out by the wingtips.
Yeah, it's very odd, and I didn't really get to see it fly. Did you see it fly, Lee? I don't remember if I ever saw it or didn't. Oh, for like a second, I think.
A flying photo. Maybe not.
Yeah, it did fly because it was ahead of me. I think I was flying my A10 while I was flying, so I only saw it in a quarter of my eye.
Oh, it folds up into a briefcase. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Kirk.
That's clever.
Now it makes sense.
This is a foldable plane, travel plane.
Exactly. I guess
Bad
so.
idea.
I guess we missed that part. Hey, but look at A10.
Yeah, A10. Look, it's A10. So, it gives you an idea of some of the neat stuff you see at best. You see all kinds of interesting and goofy stuff, including that.
All right. So there's a story here. Do we finally get to hear the...
Yes. You notice that it's missing something.
This is the BV-141 for those of you who don't have the benefit of viewing this.
And by the way,
Yes.
I'm going to start by just showing this, and then I'm going to cut Terry and I out, and then Fitz is going to stare at the camera and tell all the kids a story.
Let me tell you a story. A model airplane.
Okay, so you got that? Everybody got that?
Around by the campfire.
All right.
All
All right.
Okay.
Fitz, it's all yours. Go.
Okay, I'll start that this BV-141 asymmetrical plane, electric. You saw I flew at Bomber Field, so you saw it's aerobatic. And so I'll preface this that it should have crashed. And I'll tell you why. So I was flying it around. I think it was Sunday, as a matter of fact. And I was like, let me fly this thing one more time, just get kind of flying around, have a good time with it, and start packing up. And here's my E10 there.
Sorry, I'm trying to get the next slide. The next slide for you.
But anyways, so I flagged around and I decided, well, let me do some aerobatics. I do some loops, some rolls. And then I did I said, well, I'm going to do an inverted pass because I've flown inverted before. I flew a bomber like that. So I flipped it upside down and I got about halfway around the field and I had just turned from downwind back to do a pass over the runway inverted. And I saw something fall off the aircraft. I said, oh, that's weird, but probably my canopy because it's fallen off before. I've had that canopy pop off once or twice. So I was like, oh, dang it, I lost my canopy again. Let me roll right side up. And so I rolled it right side up. I dropped the landing gear because the landing gear was retracted. So I dropped the gear and I did sort of a 180. I said, well, it's handling kind of weird. Maybe because the canopy came off, the aerodynamics are a little off or something. So I proceeded to turn into the wind, and it was a little bit. It seemed like it was flying a little bit tail heavy, and I said, "Well, that's kind of odd." So, anyways, I came in, made a real nice touchdown. Had to add a little bit of down elevator, but it came in, landed just nicely, and as soon as it rolled to a stop, I had nothing. None of the motor didn't work. I couldn't taxi back. I said, well, that's odd. And then I wiggled the controls. The controls didn't work. So I said, well, that's very odd. I just landed this thing. And so I walk up to it. And can you put the picture back, Lee?
Of the plane?
Oh, the plane on the ground?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. I got to go back one. I had another picture ready.
So zoom into the cockpit area. Thank you. So, Terry, what's missing?
Well, other than the canopy, the battery that goes underneath, and I assume it goes there.
Yes, there are two sets of batteries that are normally there.
Okay.
They were not there when I went to go pick up the plane.
Wait, what?
They weren't anywhere near the plane. In fact, do you have the other picture, Lee?
Okay.
There's the batteries. They had fallen out.
They had fallen out
While I was
inverted, upside down.
While I was inverted. That's what I saw fall off. Well, the canopy fell off, but the batteries also fell out.
They were in the field.
So
Yeah,
this thing dropped the landing gear and landed itself, like rolled right side up.
Rolled right side up.
Wait, so
It did basically a 360 and landed.
on the runway.
On runway. Well, on the grass, right next to the runway. Yep. Basically on the runway.
There wasn't a separate power source for the radio.
Nope. Everything
This thing
runs
was
off the
completely
BEC.
free flight.
It runs off the BEC off the speed controller. So yeah, there was no other auxiliary power source.
The gear came down. That's
The gear
important.
came down.
That's the part we're all calling BS. But he got the gear,
Well, the gear
down.
came down because I hit the switch.
I know, but that's because after you said something changed.
But Kirk probably has a good point. You may have been getting a little.
I love this. Kirk's giving the little.
Yes, in the chat. There are witnesses because we had who picked up the batteries? Somebody found the batteries near the tree line.
Yeah, Curtis was there. That's why Curtis's comment earlier was great. But I mean, I will tell you. I mean, first off, I'd like to hear what you think, Terry, because I know I had a conversation with Fitz on the way home on what I thought the problem was, or how this miracle happened, this miracle in the air. But I think that's it. I mean, that to me is the answer right there. That's the only solution I can come up with is that the capacitors in the ESC held enough charge for him to flip the switch, and he just didn't generate enough power output from those servos that got him in.
Did you feel like you were in control on the approach and landing?
I was in full control. Never felt I was not in control.
But
All the way
clearly,
down to touchdown.
but that system was 100% compromised. You had no power source.
No extra receiver. You mean receiver battery?
Right.
No.
Yeah, there's no receiver battery. There's only just the batteries. Yeah.
And
Just the main drive batteries.
all your ballast for the CG is gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
That plane should not have flown 5 feet, much less.
I told you it should have crashed. Now, like I said, it did feel like it was still a little bit tail heavy, but
That's what I want to say. That's how everybody heard Fitz. The first thing Fitz said when he got landed and people were walking up going, what happened? He goes, I should not have a plane right now. He was like, this plane should be in pieces. Because he was looking around for me, goes, what just happened? He's like, did y'all see that? Did time stop? It's Fitz could not believe it. And the people who were watching, I wasn't close. I was at the thing, but I happened to see the flight. But it was the weirdest thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're blowing my mind right now. See, I have a good story with when my transmitter battery died and we recovered that plane. This is 10 times the wow factor of that.
Absolutely.
There's a higher power involved in this.
Yeah. I hope everybody sitting down watching this right now appreciates this because we were all just stunned. And in fact, Fitz, now you can show your other award. I hope it's
bought a lottery ticket on
that. Can you see all the
choice? I got CD's Choice Award
for the Miracle in the Air.
For Miracle Plane.
Wow.
Now,
Miracle on the Hudson. This is miracle at best.
Well, okay. So I should say that I have an answer.
Oh, you do? You have another
I do have an answer.
Oh, okay. A new theory?
No. I have quantifiable details, or what do you call it?
Holy smokes! Now I got to hear this story. Okay,
yeah, I haven't told you guys about it.
Did you try to recreate this or something, or you just have another answer?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah. Okay. I tried to recreate it.
Hold on, let me get this picture out of here because I want Fitz all.
No.
Wait, hold on.
I'll give you. What? What happened?
I have to work this through my brain. I need your help. So,
okay, Terry, what do you think?
A minute ago.
Let me let you guess, Terry. Give it a couple of guesses, and then I'll tell you what it is.
Well, I got to work through this first. Kirk said that the prop was a generator. And at first I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes a little sense. But brushless doesn't work that way. You have to commutate through the ESC. So if the ESC was dead, you're not going to get any voltage out of a brushless motor. Am I thinking clearly?
No, and that's why you didn't study electrical engineering.
Okay.
It's any permanent motor can be used as a generator.
Okay, but still, there's.
So,
all right, so
Kirk is right.
I'll give you a hint.
Okay, so you measured this. Oh man.
Yes. So what I did was I hooked up my voltmeter, and I hooked up some stuff to the speed controller, and I grabbed my starter motor, my electric starter I use for my gas planes, and I cranked that sucker up. And guess what? It produces 5.5 volts when you spin the propeller, when you freewheel it.
At the battery leads or
at the battery leads, at the leads coming out of the speed controller. Especially what I did was I plugged in a battery to the speed controller, and I had one of those little electronic servo emulator things. And so I turned it on, and then I spun up the prop. It was a little tricky to do all with just 2 hands. I need a couple more hands. And I spun it up, and then I disconnected the battery, the main battery, and it stayed at 5.5 volts for as long as I held that starter onto the propeller for freewheeling.
Wow. I would think they would have a built-in diode to prevent that.
Well, yeah, I thought they would have either some clamping diodes. I think the key is the brakes were not enabled on it, and so the excess energy wasn't applied to the brake. It just freewheeled, and it probably, as part of the freewheeling circuitry, was able to not only commutate but rectify the signal down for the 5 volts to run the BEC circuitry. And so the prop on, if you notice, you saw the picture, the prop on that plane is fairly high pitch. So it's probably more conducive to freewheeling easier than, say, a real flat pitch prop. Wow. So it acted as a generator. It had just enough power to lower the gear, and there's only a couple of servos. There's no flaps or anything on it. So there's really a couple of standard size servos on it.
Did you measure the current in your test?
I need to do that next. I haven't done any load tests, so I need to put up a dummy load to see how much power, how much wattage I can get out of it. I was having problems holding the starter on, so I had to get another. I just got it today, another rubber insert, a little bigger one, so I can hold the starter on. Or maybe somebody mentioned I could try I have a blower, leaf blower thing I might try.
No,
I want to do a load test with a dummy resistor.
Fitz. Those watching, I'm begging you, don't do this. Save it for Fitz. Fitz, you must replicate this. You've got to find another airframe. No, I'm serious. I'm dizzy. You've got to, even it's for your Hobby View channel, you've got to get another plane and do a proof of concept on this. You must get another plane and do this, even if you don't do the whole retract or something. But I'll throw you a spare plane if you want.
I need a sacrificial plane.
You've got to have an ejection process that hopefully would keep the CG similar, and then drop gear and control the landing using this generator method. I mean, I'd love to see this because this would be amazing. And people would finally believe this story because, again, some of you who weren't there just are calling BS. It's like this, but he landed a plane with the batteries ejected. That's it, guys. And no one would believe he landed it, but he did.
Understanding that only takes a little bit of the wow factor out of this. There's still so many things had to line up. But have you checked to see where the CG is without the battery?
No. And I am amazed it flew as well as it did without the battery. I guess because the motor is so far forward.
Well, Stephen here just said he saw someone land a jet. One of the Toucan. Is it Toucan? Isn't that a turboprop?
That's a turboprop, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a
without a battery.
And then Jason says he has heard this.
Yeah, I think what I'd like to try is a different speed controller. This one has an old Castle Ice speed controller, and I wonder if this is indicative of just a Castle brand or other brands will do the same thing as well. So I'm curious about that. So maybe I'll run an experiment. Maybe I'll find a sacrificial plane that has a good freewheeling prop and try it. Somebody, like I said, put a parachute on the battery so I don't destroy the batteries.
Hey, for everybody who's still watching, I want to see in the comments if it was worth the wait to listen to this story. And also comment if you think Fitz should replicate this, because I want to see this. I've never seen it. Obviously, it sounds like some other people have witnessed this, but I thought that was just the craziest thing. I kept thinking it was capacitor driven, but obviously I'm wrong. But again, Fitz, you could help us all by doing this.
Yeah. It'd be neat to talk to. I don't know, most of these controllers come out of Asia, but I know
I can get you in touch with Lucian from Badass.
Oh yeah, maybe. It'd be like to talk to somebody who designs these things. Maybe when you're freewheeling the prop, the energy's got to go somewhere. So it could be that they design so that when the prop is freewheeling, it's fed back into the BEC circuitry just because at least that's energy that can be used for something and not just extended as heat. So that would be interesting to talk to an ESC designer, see if that's on purpose or it's just a happy, lucky circumstance of the design. It wasn't really designed that way on purpose, but just, because it just happened to work out that way. But I was amazed. I didn't know they would have enough power to do that, to run what? 1, 2, 3, 4 servos and 2 electric retracts.
I mean, the servos, to me, the gear would draw more power than the servos.
Yeah, I'm surprised the gear would lower. Yeah.
Well, gravity helped you a little there, but still, I'm still calling miracle on this. So many things had to happen.
Yeah,
now,
true. Yeah, it had to be.
Real jets, that's their backup power system, right? They have a little thing that pops out with
the airliners do. They have I forgot what it's called, a little pop-out propeller thing that spins. Air-driven generator,
A4s have them, maybe a lot of
air ram generator or something like that.
Yeah.
But of course, they're traveling at 500 miles an hour.
Yeah.
They need a few more
Ram
amps.
air generator. That's it. I think. A ram air turbine. Yeah, I knew somebody in the chat would come in. But just I guess on a smaller scale, if we're not really using all that much power, the retracts are very heavily geared. So maybe they just didn't use a lot of power. Now these retracts too run very slow as far as how they move. I always kind of like them because when they retract, they're like they take out 2 or 3 times longer than regular retracts. So it's probably very efficient in how they run. And servos don't, unless you're doing something really aggressive, servos don't use all that much power. Only tenth of an amp maybe or something like that. So I think it was just a happy circumstance of not having the brake enabled on the speed controller, having a fairly coarse pitch prop 3 blader that spun up, that kept spinning, and having very electronics that wasn't using that much power, and me not securing the battery very well.
Well, everybody's heard that story of the F-15 that had the midair and took the wing off, and the guy came and landed it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He said, had I looked back to see the wing was missing, he would have ejected. So, I wonder if the same thing, if you had seen that it was the battery that came out, would you be like, yep, so much for that airplane?
That's a good point. Yeah, it's almost better ignorance is bliss, right? If I had known the battery popped out, I was like, oh my God, the battery's out. I would have just, probably, what's the point of me doing anything? But since I didn't know, I didn't really see it very well. I just saw a flash of canopy and pop off and a sparkle of something. And that was it. And I said, oh, well, that's weird. Well, I'll just land it. Because like I said, it's happened before.
But you had the exact right amount of energy to continue in the pattern and land.
Yeah. Yep. And the CG wasn't too far off that I
CG wasn't
control.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Because that was 2 battery packs, by the way. That was 2 6-cell battery packs. No, 2 4-cells.
I don't think we can dismiss.
Stars were aligned.
Yeah. Did you buy a lottery ticket on the way home? Or
I think we joked about it, but I didn't know. But somebody mentioned it, kind of reminds me. The brushless motors are 3-phase AC motors, basically, so they're very efficient as far as not only in producing power but in generating power.
Right, and that's the part I'm still hung up on a little bit. So whatever's coming out of that is AC. Somehow that ESC has to convert that to DC.
Yeah, that's the rectify comment I made earlier. So it has to have some sort of diodes or something there to rectify it. Now, it could have clamping diodes or something that also do the rectification. So but I'm just guessing. I have no idea.
That board's not powered because the board's typically powered by your external source. So,
but maybe it has a common rail with the let me think.
Obviously, it works. I just haven't wrapped my head around all the electronics here.
Maybe when it is freewheeling, it's actually trying to charge up the battery a little bit to get rid of excess power.
I remember that was a
and
feature.
That runs the DC.
So, all right, tell me somebody got video of this.
No, we didn't get video because I was just flying around. Now, I did get some video of our discussion after I landed. I took my cell phone out and we were kind of discussing back and forth what the hell happened. But we weren't videotaping. It was just a regular flight, so there was no video. Sorry.
Wow. Okay, I'm duly impressed. I hand you my crown of best airplane recovery story.
Yeah, that was.
It does trump your little flight.
Unfortunately,
we were perplexed until I got home, and I just said, "Let me do a quick instrumentation test." And it was still generating power when I unplugged the battery and had the starter on it, running it even at starter speed, which is not terribly fast. How much power is generated? Like I said, I need to put a dummy load and see what I can get, but I just haven't had a chance. But it was enough. It was holding steady at 5 volts, so it was enough to power whatever I needed, apparently.
Yeah. All right. That's amazing. I'm impressed.
There's more.
Yeah, we still haven't heard about that 2-bladed Corsair.
Exactly. There's more about Magic Powers Walker here.
Throw me for a loop for a second. Okay, so behind me is the new E-Flite Corsair, I guess the V2 version of their 1.2 meter Corsair. And so I'm currently doing a review on it. I'm working on the video, and I brought it out to Best to do the maiden flight and have Lee do some video for me. Thanks, Lee. And so we had done one flight on 3S flying around. I had a good time. Did
And it was
fine.
fine. By the way, it was fine on 3S.
Yeah, that's really good. You know, because when I was getting into batteries, I was told, the 3S is just okay. They recommend 4S. But so I thought it'd be kind of a dog on 3S. But no, it was actually quite good on 3S. And that was like a 3S 3200. It wasn't like a 2200. It was something larger 3S.
I'm going to jump in too because Terry, I can relate this. You know, the Fly Zone Zero that you gave me. You know, flying it on 3S is a dog, but we only fly it on 4S now, and I've given that to Ryan. So Ryan was flying the Zero at best. But that Corsair did really well, and it sounded like it was fine.
Yeah, it was. So on the second flight, I decided, well, let me throw a 4S 2200 in it to see what kind of turbo boost the 4S will give it. And I said, well, at the same time, let me try to take off of grass instead of the paved runway just to see how it does on grass operations. And it ended up trying to take off, but ended up tipping over, and it just kind of. I said, well, that's not good. So I tipped it back. Excuse me, went to take off again, and it started vibrating and rattling. So that's what the hell? And I look at it. There's only 3 blades on the 4-bladed propeller. One of them had snapped off when it nosed over in the grass, and I was kind of bummed. I was like, oh man, I don't have a replacement, and I really wanted to see how I did on 4S. And this guy right here.
I think Sparky was. We were both telling you to do it, so I'm going to blame Keith Spark.
I specifically remember you.
Oh, okay.
Because I made a joke about gluing that one blade back on, and Lee says, "Well, why don't you just break off the other one and make it a 2-blader?" And at first I thought he was joking, and he kind of kept egging me on, and I thought, if it's crazy and it works, maybe it's not crazy. That might be a good idea.
The funny part was him trying to break off the other one. It wouldn't budge, man.
I do a light nose over and it breaks, but him going, it wouldn't break off. I was like, what the? No, so, anyways, I finally broke it off, snapped right off, and a nice clean break, just like the other one. Oh, don't try this at home, kids.
Yeah.
And so I had a 2-blader prop. I said, well, let's see how it does. And wouldn't you know, that thing flew like a bat out of hell. It flew great.
It did. It
sounded great too. It had a nice growl to it.
It didn't vibrate?
No, it didn't vibrate at all.
No,
it was fine.
Not at all, man. It was like perfectly balanced after that.
Yeah.
I think they've got something here. It's like, hey, guys, don't give up on this. You know, if you go 4, go 2-blade.
So yeah, that 4-blade turned into a perfectly usable 2-blader on 4S. I thought it would fly very well on 3S, but on 2S it flew just great.
Very fast. Yeah,
it was screaming along.
Sadly, I mean, it's almost too fast. It was more like it should have been that Red Racer Corsair, you know, like
yes.
You know, it was more of that kind of fast than a normal Corsair, but it flew great, and you did some stunts and stuff with it too.
Yeah, because I wanted to try. I ended up flying that with the tanks later too, and did inverted and snaps and all kinds of aerobatic stuff. It flew great, knife edges. It did plenty of power. Probably not as much as a 4-blade, but 2-blade. It was just really nice. Was it Sparky giving us hell for doing that, or?
No, I thought he was okay with it. I think, of course, he was maybe like Terry. Was it balanced? But no, I think he was okay with it.
Oh, okay. So I thought somebody was giving us ragging us a little bit for doing that. But so that's why. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're probably asking about it. Let me bring it over so you can see it. So that's why it has. You can see a nice 2-blader. Of course, they were 2-blader prop. Yeah, it doesn't look right, but it works until I get they're on back order, believe it or not. I went to go order a new prop. It's back ordered. It's bloody hell. So
anyways, you know what? Maybe some of those guys out there who have 3 blades on their plane waiting for a new prop you can quickly get the video up, and they'll go, oh, well, I'll just rip off this other one.
Yeah, just rip off the other one, sign the consent form, and you rip off the other one, and it'll fly on 4S. If you fly it on 4S,
right.
I probably wouldn't do it on 3S. But so it's a temporary fix until I get another 4-blader, and I'd like to really fly around on 4 blades, see what it does on 4S. I was at the hobby store and I forgot to look for another prop, see if they had one. But anyways, but look for my review on this sometime very shortly. I'm working on the video, putting the final touches on it.
On Hobby View?
Terry, good eye, Terry. Hobby View, yes, on Hobby View. Get in there. I don't care what
All right, we're coming up on an hour and 45 minutes. So we would normally start thinking about our exit strategy now.
Yeah, I had some notes about, I think we covered everything for, I mentioned the Leprechaun, I ended up flying it quite a bit. It's funny, this is the big glider I built for my Rayviation review, and it's just a bunch of sticks, but it's giant. In fact, I ended up winning prize for that. Largest flown was the Leprechaun. They gave me a prize for that. And it was funny. I had Keith Sparks was really interested in it. I said, well, you want to fly it? I'll let you fly it around a little bit. And I threw it, and he flew, but it was acting funny. It was kind of getting blown around a little bit in the wind, but it seemed more than that. And so after we landed it, I realized I had
his battery fell out too.
No, but I had taken some nose weight out of it to tweak the CG, and I guess I took a little too much out of it and forgotten about it. So, yeah. I borrowed some weight from Nathan, started throwing some more in, and after that, it flew really quite well. And in fact, I was able to thermal it. But they really got a kick out of the landings because I can come in, and even like it was like a 5 mile per hour wind or so, come in and basically stop and kind of go boom, onto the ground. I think flies really, really slow. So we're talking about the Subway, Lee? Subway sandwich place?
Go ahead. That was fun. That's a quick story, but it's funny.
So we went to, we wanted to grab something to eat. We didn't feel like whatever somebody else was eating. So Lee found out there was a Subway in town. I never knew there was a Subway in town. And it was a reason, because this place was like hidden with no lights. You didn't know it was there.
It's like, is it a basement?
Behind a Beware Dragon sign or something, Beware Tigers. And then we go in, and what did she say? It was like, let's
do it further. So first off, it's in a corner of a street that's like off behind other stores. All the lights were out. The street lights were out. The sign light was out. Like Fitz and I were driving going, where's the Subway? And I saw a light from a glass door. I was like, is that the Subway? We're like, what is that? So we drove up, and sure enough, it was a Subway. They had no idea the lights were out. So
I pulled the girl outside to look at the sign. He's like, do you supposed to have lights in this thing?
It was just funny. But then when we go in there, the funnier part was that they were all out of meat because it was Friday night football. She goes, don't you know it's Friday night? It's like everybody comes to get food. I was like, we didn't know. So everything was great. Like pepperoni was like all we had, right?
You had a PB&J from Subway.
Yeah, PB&J.
Basically.
Exactly.
That and tuna, I think is like the only thing they had.
But what's funny is that we went back the next day for lunch because now that we knew where it was, and by the way, we're the only ones in there, Fitz. We were the only ones there that Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
We were the only ones there that Saturday. So it's like they don't do a lot of business. So you're welcome, guys.
Yeah, I guess they didn't have a big inventory.
But we were that.
Shout out to Sparky for some neat pilot prizes. He had some vacuum form stuff that he gave to all the pilots. That's pretty cool.
Curtis is asking or talking about control line flying.
Oh, yeah. We have a video on our Facebook page where Lee is control line flying from Steve Davidson is flying
Steve
around
is
him.
Trying to kill Lee.
Yeah.
Control line flying.
Lee got a haircut.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Again, more Lee mayhem. If y'all want to go enjoy yourselves, get a kick out of it. Fitz got us doing control line in the runway. By the way, the morning flights were awesome. Steve was up and at 'em every morning, getting some flying in. It was just beautiful. We have some more photos out there, but oh man, it was just great weather. Can't talk enough about that.
All weekend.
I'll thank Kirk Jensen for the good weather. I think he was the one who ordered it.
Yeah, good job, Kirk.
And also, quick shout out while Fitz is doing some research there. Shout out to everybody who came out there. Nathan, because you were hanging out with us a lot. Again, Sparky was there. Tom was out there. Richard was out there. And I know I'm going to forget some names, but we just enjoyed every year. We enjoy hanging out with everybody. The one person we're missing is Mr. Dunn. So I really wish, we can get him out there. In fact, one year I tried to fly his butt out there, but he turned me down. So maybe next year we'll start a GoFundMe and get Terry back to best, and we'll have a big mayhem.
Well, I'll remind you, it's never been about the money. It's always just family commitments.
Well, find time for best, buddy. All right, back to you, Fitz.
Okay, so one last thing is they had, people were selling and buying stuff and some stuff for sale. And I was walking away from a table and I saw this, a box. I said, what is it? What is that all about? And the guy had a price. He had $25 on the top. It's not well written because I wasn't sure if that was right. He's like, is that really $25? He goes, yeah, just a box of stuff. Take it for $25.
That includes stuff in it?
There's a bunch of stuff in it. And when I got home, I really didn't look at it when I was there. I did a quick look. And I said, well, it's got a bunch of odds and ends. The box and some stuff is probably worth $25.
Now I'm gonna stop real quick and say this is gonna make me angry because after we do his show and tell, I have to talk about my show and tell or or tell and no show.
You want to do yours first?
I
No,
can't.
I think we'll close the show with Lee's.
Okay.
So anyways, I get home and there's a brand new Spectrum servo in here, micro servo.
$18 right there.
Several other micro servos. I don't know if they work or not, but
$2.
they're like no name brand. Yeah, a couple bucks. There's a brushless motor in there. Another brushless motor in there.
$1,000.
An old school retract servo.
Nice.
And this is just the top.
Another old school retract servo. I'm not going to go through everything, but there's a bunch of servos of random stuff. Some a couple more Spectrum servos that are not. These are not cheap, and they look in good shape. Some bits and pieces of some old retracts that I'm sure don't work. Some random speed controllers of various brands, and who knows they work or not, but they're all brushless.
Do they generate voltage if you lose your battery?
Yeah, maybe.
Those are going to be hot market items right now. Everybody's going to be out looking for those ESCs.
So just at the top, I got way more of my money back, and there's a bunch of drawers on the bottom that open up.
And here's where the silver dollars were located.
No, but just some funny stuff in here I thought you guys might get a kick out of. Mostly it's just odds and ends, clevises, and some EC parts of EC5 connectors and stuff, which, those are better than a kick in the pants. But what was really funny is, here it is. There was another servo. Several of these. I don't know if you can see what they are.
Oh, the first generation.
First gen Spectrum receivers. There's like 2 or 3 of them. There's 2 here, and I think there's a third one. And these are DSM like 1. These are not even DSM 2s.
Yeah, just one.
But I think I have a DSM 1 radio, as a matter of fact, that I don't use because not anything that great, but it might be good for something cheap.
Compatible.
I think only DSM 2 is. I don't think DSM 1 is.
So X compatible. And 2 will play nice, but
but not 1. It was too much of a difference. But there's like little prop adapters and prop things and a lot of this was what I wanted. I really just was interested in all the little knickknacks that you'll need. I mean, there's a bunch of little prop adapters and things in here that I picked up.
Nice.
In here. Yeah, it was really nice. I've always used those.
Well, I would say just the box was worth $25.
Yeah, just a box. Yeah, for $25, I got all good. Here's the third DSM receiver. No, there's a fourth one. Look at that. It's kind of beat up, but there's another one. So it might be okay for like a boat or something. I don't know. But anyways, just for something that I almost missed because it was under the table and just sitting there. And I guess the guy didn't want to go through it all. And just said, $25 for the whole box. There's a piece of a motor here, another motor and bell. It actually probably runs more prop adapters. I can always use all kinds of random prop adapters because I never know when I need something oddball. So, anyways, that was the only thing I bought there. Actually, that was
good score.
I didn't spend any money. Yeah, nice. Oops. So I was a good boy. I don't think there was anything else I had my eye on. There was a kind of snazzy looking Zero, but Lee talked me out of it. But that's it. So I think that's all I have to mention for best, other than seems like we had more power users this year. The power kept going out. At night. Yeah. Of course, it kind of might have been partially my fault, but.
Were you running the AC in your car again?
Yeah.
Charging his car.
It was plugged in. Well, I thought I had selected a lower charge rate so it wouldn't pull as much, but I think we had extra people on the circuit. But anyways,
we actually, it's funny that you brought that up, Fitz, because I will say it's something we talked to Kirk about. And I know Sparky was talking to another club member about, things we could do for next year. And I heard Sparky saying it would be great if we had electronics, outlets, kind of like they do for RV plugins.
Yeah,
Down
I
that
agree.
line on a separate circuit, so we could tap it directly into those. And they were actually talking about having RV spots, for future events. So that might happen. We'll see.
Yeah, it would be nice to have some extra power circuits for people on the flight line. That would be a real nice touch.
Yeah. But otherwise, it was nice. We had a good time.
Oh, yeah.
The dad joke hour was hilarious when we were all sitting around Sparky's.
Oh, yeah.
I think Steve started that. So we had some nice evenings where we just sat and talked. We had some good dinners. We brought in pizza, or I brought in pizza for Saturday night, which I think we had too much left. I really thought everybody was going to eat it all.
Yeah, I was driving home. I was like, man, I should have grabbed a pizza. I forgot one. I would have grabbed one and taken it back, but I totally forgot.
Maybe another club member grabbed it.
Yeah.
And I will say, not to be critical, it wasn't as big a year as we would hoped for. I mean, with COVID kind of being gone, and we made as many announcements as we could about this event, and I'm sure most people knew about it, but not as many pilots this year. So something I'm going to hopefully fix for next year, because guys, it's just too much fun to pass up. So please put it on your calendar and join us next year. We have a great time out there.
I counted 47 pilots.
Yeah, we've had more than that.
Not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but
okay. But
it just was kind of quiet. I mean, there was a year we were like waiting in line to fly.
Yeah.
And this year was, granted, it was easy. You just go up there and fly. Oh, and by the way, we did have a Warbird gaggle, and I want to add that I brought the P-47 cartoon kit that I got from Sparky last year. So I got to modify that, and I flew that during the event. So, some people were bringing their big planes, and I had the little cartoon P-47 flying around.
Oh, nice.
So thanks for Sparky.
Those things fly great.
They did. Yeah, once you get the hang of it, and the CG was a little off on mine, so maybe it was a different battery that he used. But once I got some nose weight in there, it flew much better.
All right. So that sounds like the end of Best. And we found all the different ways that Fitz is super duper lucky. So let's close things out with the opposite end of the spectrum, with rainy cloud. Bedeviled Lee.
Another Leeism. Well, guys, if you've ever heard the joke about grammar saves lives, there's this awesome, I didn't pull it up, but it says, let's eat grandmother, and then let's eat, grandmother.
I've seen other examples that are perhaps
but this is
one polite company.
Grammar is important, and I will tell you my joke. Again, I like to go on high bid and look for estate sales and stuff. And I came across an item. Oh, I take it back. It was this little bad boy right here. Let me switch back to 3-view here.
Yeah, give me that.
So back right here is my new Cox PT-19, new in box. It will be built. I have decided. So all of you said keep it in a box. You've lost, but it's sitting right there. I've already opened it up, and I'm going to start putting it together. But in the estate sale for this, I won 2 lots. And in this lot, there was an extra box of electric car locks. I kid you not. The title of the said Cox PT-19. And then in the picture is this box of car locks. I sent it to Terry. And then on the other auction I won, there were 3 boxes of 3 high-tech flight boxes that each had 4 brand new high-tech ball bearing servos in them. So it's a total of 12 brand new high-tech standard ball bearing servos. And that was the lot. It said high-tech servos. But also in that lot was this box of just wire. Okay. So I called them and said, look, I don't need the car locks. Okay. So I told them in lot number 1, I don't need the car locks. You guys can have them. I just need the PT-19. And then I said, in the other lot, I don't need that big white cardboard box. All I need are the wires inside the box. And Terry's looking at me funny, but that's how
I don't remember you saying it that way.
I said I didn't need the big white box. I just need the wires in that. Just throw that in the lot. That's what how I worded it. I didn't read very carefully. So the way she read it was, I only need the old crappy wires in the box. I don't need the high-tech servos. That's the name of the lot. All the brand new servos in the brand new boxes. I just want the crappy wires and not the white box they came in. And so I get the PT19 and a Ziploc of crappy wires. And I was just like, oh my God. And I looked at my email. It's like, I could see how you could possibly misunderstand me. I was like, I only needed the wires. But at the very end of that line, it says, just include it with everything else I won in that lot. And she missed it. And I called her up. She was on vacation or something. I called her the following week. They had thrown everything away. They threw the high-tech servos and they threw the wires away. And that's just like the moment for me. That's like, and I'm okay with it. You know, unlike that other auction where I get my box and things are missing and they're five-fingered. I'm okay because for what I paid, I got a great deal on the PT19 and it's a wash for me. And it's also a funny moment to share with you guys. But please be careful the next time you buy stuff and, you know, just tell them to I mean, I think that's the key is the shipping costs today are outrageous. This cost me a lot of money. And I was like, I didn't need this. There's a huge white box. I was like, I don't need that. Just, you know, put the stuff into one little thing. And they misread me. But yeah, I learned from my mistakes, folks.
Hopefully we all learn from your mistakes.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I'm here to help. And that's why I was looking at you smugly, Fitz, because you had that great deal for $25 and my money went down the drain. Literally. All those brand new servos gone. That's it. That's my closing story. Thanks to everyone who has stayed on this long, especially to enjoy this guy's magic story of his plane. That was great.
Yeah, I feel like I need him to rub my forehead or something for good luck. Yeah, thank you. All right, so are we going to wrap it up now?
I think so.
All right, well, I'll repeat what you said. Thanks to everybody who joined us tonight, and thanks to everybody who's listening afterwards. We do appreciate everybody joining us, whether it's real time or after the fact. And again, I'll apologize for not being as interactive on the comments as we like to be. But I think we just had too much to say and not enough time to say it. So we'll commit to being more interactive next time. And I think there's more stuff going on, right? You guys have events coming up there. I'm not sure what's happening here, but I'll be on the lookout.
We'll post stuff. So y'all make sure you tell Terry to do more live stuff at events. But guys, we'll keep putting content on our Facebook page, and hopefully we'll start doing more of the live shows at least once a month to get you guys more involved.
Yeah, we've said that before.
Well, we're going to say it again. Okay. You guys are going to keep us honest.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good night, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Say goodbye, Magic.
All right. Bye. Okay.